Hey everybody, I missed you last week. This week we're going to be talking about Melania's anti-bullying campaign, the new transphobic choice by the Prez, and I'm going to be talking way more about sports than I ever thought I would on one episode. We're also going to touch on second chances with my guest this week, host and comedian, Ant. I'm Dana Goldberg, and you are watching Out in Left Field. So, Melania Trump gave an anti-bullying speech at the UN this week. I can't. It's insane. Anti-bullying? Come on. This is like Bristol Palin giving an abstinence-only speech while she's holding her first baby that was born out of wedlock. It's not surprising that this was also the same week that the president called an athlete that was peacefully protesting systematic racism in our country a son of a bitch. He also went after Hillary Clinton. He went after Mitch McConnell. He went after Rocket Man. He went after Steph Curry. The list goes on and on and on. I'm sorry, Melania, your anti-bullying campaign isn't doing very well. Maybe you should try taking your work home with you. In theory, an anti-bullying campaign can be very powerful. Melania said herself, no child should feel afraid or bullied and feel like they have nowhere to turn, unless you're transgender, according to this administration. Speaking of children, it seems Trump's new judiciary candidate believes that transgender kids are part of Satan's plan. I can't with these people anymore. Jeff Mateer is the first assistant attorney general in Texas. Shocking, I know. With regard to this incredible case in Colorado where a young girl actually sued her school and won for the right to use the bathroom she identifies with. He says there's no way a first grader could know her sexual identity at that age. Jeff, this isn't about sexual identity. That's why it's called transgender. The clue is in the name, Jeff. I can't. Honestly, I don't even know why these are headlines anymore. It's one bigoted Trump pick after another. You know what would be a headline? Trump picks a Supreme Court justice that supports LGBT equality, or Trump does a tweet with correct spelling and grammar. On another note, celebrities across this country are starting to get louder and louder about injustices that are happening right here in the USA, whether it's racism or health insurance. And you know what? I'm getting really tired of all of these right-wingers telling people like Steph Curry and Jamel Hill and Jimmy Kimmel to stay in their lanes. There's no lanes! The lanes went away the moment a reality television host was elected to be the president of the United States, and I don't know about you, but I am ready for that show to get canceled. What did surprise me is that a hockey team, the Pittsburgh Penguins, decided they will go to the White House to celebrate their 2017 Stanley Cup win. And I don't know, maybe that is the right thing to do. I mean, I thought about it. As a team, that is their white. Right. Damn it. I don't want to make any assumptions, but there was only one black player on the Penguins 2017 roster this year. And he actually just signed a 3-year contract with the Detroit Red Wings. I don't know about you, but I'm going to be very interested to see what he does at the beginning of the next hockey season. Oh, and by the way, NASCAR owners said that they would fire any driver that protested the national anthem, which sounds about white. Right, damn it! And now that takes us to the glaring irony of the problem with freedom of speech in this country right now. The president doesn't think that athletes should be able to practice their First Amendment rights at their job. But he has absolutely no problem at all when a homophobic baker decides he can't bake a cake because of what? The First Amendment. This is why I can't take a week off. Too much shit happens in this country. I'm going to try and find my sanity a little bit with my guest this week, amazing comedian and host, Ant. Thank you so much for coming back and joining us. I very much missed you last week. My guest has been on the Tonight Show several times. He's had his own Comedy Central special, and he was the host of Celebrity Fit Club. Please welcome to Out in Left Field, Ant.
Hey, I'm so happy to be here. You cover it all, and you're like ballsy.
I have to be.
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you very much. Speaking of ballsy,
yeah.
Actually, I was going to different transition. Speaking of someone who has taken a knee before, and actually 2 knees.
2 knees. I know, I'm watching this whole thing about like these players and they're making these stances and Trump is coming out. Meanwhile, he's not said a single word about like Puerto Rico has been out of power, dysentery has taken over, people have no food, the country has asked for aid and they still haven't gotten all the aid that they've asked for, yet he's tweeting about players taking the knee. They're respecting the flag by taking the knee because people died for our right to have the freedoms that we have.
Thank you. All these people last week that were so upset about the Confederate flag are suddenly so upset about the American flag.
Right.
You can't be upset about both.
Exactly.
There was a war.
I try not to be political because, you know, my political beliefs have changed. I was a Republican at one time. I was from New Hampshire.
Stop the camera.
Imagine.
I had no idea.
Years ago, voted for Reagan twice. As I got older, social causes became more important to me than fiscal causes.
Right.
Money comes and goes, but people's ability to have access to health care. People should have the right to buy a fucking wedding cake from any store that sells wedding cakes.
Thank you. Through the years, you have had a tremendous amount of success, by the way.
I've had a tremendous amount of
sex.
I've been in a cesspool.
Sex.
Yeah. How much success have I had? I'm your 10th guest. Your 10th guest. Next week, the cleaning person here at The Advocate will be sitting in this chair going over her views of the American
There is nothing
populace.
wrong with the cleaning person at The Advocate.
No, they're
sir.
great. I'm just saying I've had a tremendous amount of success. I'm the 10th person.
I can't start the bar right at you, then I have nowhere to go.
Oh my God, that was the best save I have ever experienced.
This ain't my first rodeo.
This ain't your first rodeo.
So, no politics. What you have been doing is you created this, you took a little bit of time off. You had a little bit of a personal experience
No,
that
I'll
you
talk
needed
about
to
it.
recover
So
from.
I relapsed.
Yes.
A lot of people who know me know that I struggle with drugs and alcohol. And I stopped working my program of recovery and I relapsed.
Did something trigger it?
Yes. Yeah. My partner of 8 years died suddenly, was diagnosed with cancer, then 3 months later was dead. And I stopped going to my recovery-based meetings. I stopped doing everything I was taught to do in order to maintain, to keep my recovery, to keep my disease at bay. I stopped doing it all. And what happened is I had no defense. So the only thing that I knew to stop the pain was drugs. So I went back and I did that, and it was horrible. And it was a 2.5-year relapse. And then I had this amazing spiritual experience again. And I was given grace a second time that I didn't earn and I didn't deserve. I got sober again, and I decided that this time I needed to take time off. So I stopped my career.
Right.
I didn't do a second season of US of Ant. I stopped, you'll see the 7th season of Celebrity Fit Club. I'm not hosting it.
Right.
I stopped going on the road. I stopped everything because I needed to build a foundation in recovery. Right. Because what good is going on the road and making money if you're going to be dead in 2 months?
And I'm glad that you actually
Thanks.
thought about that, because I adore you, and the world is a better place because you and your humor is here.
Oh, it's not evident in this broadcast, but trust me, I have humor.
You took this and you created an amazing opportunity with a podcast.
I
Tell me
did.
about your podcast.
So we created this podcast called Second Chances, and it's stories of second chances hosted by 2 comedians living theirs. Both of us are in recovery.
Wonderful.
Right? But the podcast isn't about really recovery. Some people's second chances are for animals who don't have a voice. We had one guest who her second chance was she has a family genetic disease that kills the women young in their family. And her second chance is she's doing all these clinical trials at UCLA. She lives in Idaho. She flies into UCLA and she does all these clinical trials. And I said to her, I go, why are you doing that? They're not going to save you. And she goes, I'm not trying to save me. I'm trying to save my unborn grandchild. Wow. So she's doing it for them. And other people, their second chance are for them. We've got Carney Wilson, Perez Hilton, Margaret Cho.
I love Carney. She looks amazing. She is blossoming.
Is she going to do this?
Yeah, we've talked.
Okay, good.
She's wonderful.
When she did our podcast, she's like, which building is it? I'm like, Carney, you're in front of the building.
You know that you called me on the way here and you were like, Dana, I can't see the building. Which building is it? Is it on the corner?
Shit. We can perform in front of millions of people, but parallel park in a strange neighborhood or a neighborhood where there may be no parking? What are we doing?
You are one of the funniest comics in improv on stage. When you are working with the crowd,
I love it.
It's brilliant.
You know why? It's because I hate my act.
Oh.
I hate my act, and you know who my idol was growing up? It was the Center Square. It was Paul Lynde.
Right.
And Paul Lynde's wit was so, Paul, do crogs croak? Well, it depends on how long you hold them underwater. I mean,
that was
that's
it. And
hilarious,
that was getting you.
Right? Oh my God, I used to love Paul Lynde. And I just thought, God, I wish I could be as funny and as quick as him. And that's what I've done my entire career. I've always just said, okay, try and find the joke fast, faster than anybody else.
Yeah, and you do it.
And I love it.
A lot of you watching probably know Ant. He's been doing this for 30 years. You are a pro. If you want to see him live, he's actually going to be in San Francisco on October 3rd at the Punchline for one night only, so make sure you check him out.
Yeah.
If you want to get his podcast, you can find it on
Second Chances Podcast at iTunes, iHeartMedia, Stitcher, or wherever you download your favorite podcast.
And what is your website, sir?
Oh, my website is theant.com.
Thank you so much for coming
Dana.
and
This
visiting.
was a hoot.
Thank you so much.
I hope I remember where I parked.
Thank you so much for joining us this week. I love that you're coming back to watch the episodes. I'm having a great time. I know that you are as well. Thank you for watching. I'm going to have an amazing guest next week. Again, I'm Dana Goldberg, and you are watching Out in Left Field.
She told me, come camera ready. I didn't even slap makeup on because I'm a fat old queen and I'm finally proud of it.
Let me pet your arms.
Soft, huh?
They are
Never done a
soft.
hard day's labor.
Missed
What would you do if I
being
reached
here.
and just grabbed your breast?
Well, let's find out. You didn't grab my breast. Why didn't you grab my breast?
Because I know exactly what you were going to do. You remind me of my sister. I'd
So
have
what
a
does that
fat lip
do?
by the time I
You
left
would
this building.
not. I probably would have just laughed and moved it and make sure you were on my nipple. I missed you this week. No, I missed you last week. I'm sorry about the weird pause. You can cut that, right? Actually, very powerful. Powerful. Like me, I'm powerful. We're gonna try it. Ready? Okay. Now, speaking of our children, maybe I shouldn't do that when I say our children. These are my children. Bubble spit right out of my mouth. Actually supports Wait, what are we doing?